Now I have a question from one of our viewers.
Okay.
Laura, actually.
Hi, Laura.
Thank you for your question. What do you think helped your family and friends cope, and also what kind of support did you appreciate the most? Was it people in terms of simply people cooking for you, or was it people coming to play games with you, or listening to you in terms of...
Well, I'm never going to refuse a free meal. If somebody wants to provide me a free meal, that's good. But no, honestly, the best thing that anybody can do for me is just be there for me. Listen if I'm saying something, like, you know, and I just need a shoulder for them to just, like that I need to lean on. Silence is also the most comforting to me. You can just sit with me and not say anything, and I just feel that I know that you're there with me.
Yeah.
I find that's very comforting. I'm not the kind of person that needs... Everybody's different. I'm the kind of person that I don't need somebody to tell me that everything will be okay or sugarcoat information to me just to appease me. I find that only God knows those answers, so let's just leave that to God and focus on just living the best life that I can for myself. There's a comfort in just being silent and just... that's all it takes at that point. There's a connection. Nothing needs to be said. No reassurance or anything, because no one has those answers. So just being there, present, fully dedicated, you know, like in that moment, that's enough for me.
We're looking at this in an angle where, you know, certain people appreciate the fact, let's talk about it. But would you agree that it boils down to, and again, this could be relative to each individual.
Absolutely.
But
Absolutely.
Would you agree that talking about it just revives the painful emotions out of it?
I find for some people, it definitely falls like what you just mentioned, that when they talk of their past experiences, it brings back...
Revives.
Exactly. It brings back some time in their life that they don't want to think of. And it boils down to what you just said. Everybody's different.
Yes.
And that's the beauty of life. But for me, I find that talking about those experiences, I don't identify it with anymore. Like, it's more so, what did I build from it? What did I learn from it? And what can I take and share with others in that? So everybody's different, but that's what I took. That's the lesson I took from my experience. So I can easily talk about my past experiences, any treatments, anything that I went through, with no issue.
Was it an issue at one point in time, or because you've spoken about it so much, you're more comfortable now?
The reason why it was an issue at one point in time is because of my family. I felt that if I were to speak of that incident, they would cry, especially my, you know, like mother or grandmother. So at that point I realized, okay, I'll keep this to myself because they don't want to hear it from me. And that's where I turned to writing. That's where the blog came, because they couldn't stop me there. That was my outlet to talk about tough situations in my life. And I never once... There's not one entry in my blog that ever is written in a form of pity.
In a form of victim, yeah.
Exactly. Form of victim or pitting myself.
Asking for sympathy.
It's always written in the sense that, here's my experience, this is what I gained from it, and this is what I want you, the reader, to gain from it, to live your life. That's the intention for every single blog entry of mine.
That's beautiful. It's beautiful.
Thank you.
Now, on a more funnier note, can you tell us something that few people know about you?
That I basically find humor in just about any and everything. You can ask my fiance, my friends, my family. Nothing is off topic for me. Nothing. Even the most serious situations, I'll find some type of humor to lighten up that situation. Personally, that's my coping mechanism as well, humor. I find that if we can't laugh about even the toughest situations,
absolutely,
it helps take away the power from that obstacle.
Yes.
And it eases your journey through it. That's the way I view it.
Yeah.
It's not said that all people can do that, but that's the way I can deal with a situation if I can lighten it up.
And that's why we really say, embrace all your obstacles that come your way, because you don't really have a choice. And if you refuse to deal with it, then it will repeat itself.
100%.
But how much easier is it if you're taking in this experience, you're embracing it, and saying, well, it's almost over, I'll get through it.
It's like going with the flow of a current, right?
Yes.
You're not going... The more you go against it, the more you resist, the tougher your journey.
That's it.
So I decided that, okay, put this in the hands of God, and let's go with the flow of the current that was presented.
That's it. And in every lesson, in every experience comes a lesson.
Absolutely. You live and you learn.
Yeah, absolutely. So, I believe it's a fair assumption at this point to say that you've used your adversities as a turning point in your life, right? To become a storyteller, to become a source of inspiration to many people out there. You're showing how much strength you've developed over this time, and to be honest, it's unlike any others I've encountered.
You're gonna make me blush now.
Powder? I recall reading one of your blogs called Mr. and Mrs. Smooth, and it's about Vekajla, which is one of our common friends, actually, that has left far too soon.
Absolutely.
But he has left such an impact.
He's left a mark, his legacy, absolutely.
On every one of us. And until today, people still speak about him.
100%.
About his smoothness on the basketball court, about how humble he was, about how encouraging, supportive he was, and always smiling.
Yeah, and just to add to that, I had the privilege to know Vekajla, and he remains an inspiration to me. And I told him this in person too, that he was one of the inspirations that I decided to launch my site and make public the blogs that I wrote. I felt that it was needed because in communicating with him, I realized that there were certain days that he had tough time, and he needed an extra push to go through to face his battle, and there was through our communication and just being there to support each other through, like, we formed a brotherhood, and I think that support group, and I realized that there's some people that definitely need more of a push than others to just motivate them, and that's the message with my website as well, to just help out people, to give them that little push, and also to help out myself, because this is my form of therapy, to write, to express my feelings where I couldn't always express it at home.
Can you tell us a little bit more about Cancertainly Live Life Fund and how we can go about and making a donation?
Absolutely. So if you go to the website, you can just click on the donations link. All the details of how to go about making a donation are there. This is a not-for-profit fund where all the dollars that you pledge go to Cedars Cancer Support, which is one of the many great programs that Cedars Cancer Institute has to offer. Anywhere from free art therapies, counseling for cancer patients and their families. It really holds their hand and helps them adopt a positive mindset through their adversity. I felt that message was so in line with what I'm trying to do with Cancertainly.
What you're doing.
Exactly. So it was the perfect marriage, and you can look as the fund as an extension to my website.
That's amazing. Thank you.
Thanks.
Is there anything you would like to add before we wrap this interview up?
Seriously, Sarah? I think I talked your ear off. But it's just that my message is plain and simple. Doing what I'm doing, if there's other people out there that just need that extra push, just like Vekajla, to help them face their battle. That's my intention with my site. Charles R. Swindoll said it best, that life is 10% of what happens to us and 90% of how we react to it.
Absolutely.
That's in its bare essence is what my message with Cancertainly is. So it's less negative, more positive, more life.
There's another quote actually that's similar to yours. Have you ever heard about 20% is the theory, whereas 80% is the practice that you put into it?
No, never heard that.
That's another one.
That's a great one.
I believe it was Jim Rohn. I'll have to look onto that. But thank you so much for being here with us today, Hanspaul.
Thank you for having me.
And thank you for being here and watching us today. I hope you like this video, you subscribe, and you share with your friends. Until next time, this is Ambition Nation, a nation of dreamers, a nation of doers. Make sure you don't get my white socks. I was in a hurry. Did you know it was coming, or was this sudden?
Is that the question? Or... all right.
go back to that question.
The whole thing?
No, not the whole thing. The
I was
question.
like, I just.
That was so good.